You got anything to say about this, man? We talking about why the city spending all this money on immigrants and ain't spending no money on black folks, ain't housing us. They talk about putting a tent up there, a tent city right there on 115 house, right up the street. To house 3,000 of them. And feed them every day, clothe them, give them security, and take them to school. Our tax dollars, $300 million this year alone. And the mayor said, just be patient. He gonna do something for black folks. When? Nothing to be said, huh? It speaks for itself. I rest my case.
What does it mean that Chicago is a sanctuary city? It means that the city will not ask about their immigration status, disclose that information to authorities that have the authority to deport them, or most importantly, deny immigrants city services based on their immigration status. Immigrants today, citizens tomorrow. And if something don't change, I'm the first one to go on record to say that Mayor Brandon Johnson needs to become a one-term mayor, and your 50 aldermen that support this ordinance to spend your tax dollars and put this city farther and farther in the red, and you don't benefit from it.
The city is facing a more than $500 million budget deficit for 2024. Now, $200 million of that his office attributes to the growing cost of caring for migrants.
You need to remember that election time, and you need to flood their office. You need to know when they're having community meetings, and you need to be there, and you need to voice your concern. Because one thing about it, them aldermen like that $130,000+ a year paycheck that they get for being alderman, plus that $20,000+ expense account. They like that. And they like being on those committees that pay them additional money for being the head of committees and being on committees. So at the end of the day, you paying your alderman close to about $185,000, $190,000 a year. When they get to accumulating all the other perks that they get with being a city alderman. So here's how you make change. Don't let them lie to you and tell you that it's going to be done and the federal government is behind this. Number one, undeclare Chicago a sanctuary city and move these illegals. Now, I'm not against immigrants coming to this city. I'm against them coming here if they're here illegal. I'm against them coming here if they didn't came across the border and know that they didn't go through the proper procedures. Now, if we go let immigrants break the law to get in this country, don't arrest Pookie, Ray Ray, and Junebug when they get caught for selling drugs, when they get caught for doing drive-bys. You say that they are immigrants and they're allowed to be here, as opposed to putting them in jail, as opposed to locking them up and put them in tents in all 50 wards and let them live there. Feed them and clothe them and give them jobs.
Together, we call upon the Department of Homeland Security to create a process for streamlined work authorization in which states can sponsor non-citizens to work in industries that are facing labor shortages.
Mayor Brandon Johnson and Democratic lawmakers held a roundtable discussion with the American Business Immigration Coalition, calling on the president to designate new migrants like Rivas a, quote, significant public benefit to fast-track work permits.
We have the jobs. We have the people. We just need authorization from Washington.
It's not fair because we work hard. We work our ass off. From back then, from slavery to now, we still work our ass off.
They say we don't want to work. We don't want jobs.
Everybody do want to work.
Right. That's not what they say. They can bring the immigrants over here and get them work visas.
They make it easy. They make it harder for us. That's why a lot of black people don't get jobs. They make it harder.
Manufacturers like retailers and hospitality and hotels and hospitals are all struggling to find qualified workers.
Senator Dick Durbin says allowing new migrants and undocumented immigrants to work is the moral option.
But if you don't give a flying fig for this moral argument, do it for yourself and your family so that businesses can stay open, restaurants can stay open, hotels can stay open, so that hospitals can provide the basic care that you need. These people are ready to help, and we should give them that chance.
If you go say that migrants can come here when they came here illegal, and I don't care how you sum it up, they're in this country illegally according to the law. And they're in this city because Chicago has declared itself a sanctuary city. Not because the governor Abbott from Texas is busing them up here because Chicago is a blue city. Chicago and New York and LA is full of black people. That's not why they busing them up here. You have chose, the leadership, the government officials have chose to make this a sanctuary city. And therefore you give cover for them to be in the city and not be sent back because they're breaking the law while they're in the city. So don't go arrest. Tell the police officers just sit in their car. Don't arrest nobody. Just go to work, sign in, get their paycheck twice a month, deposit it to their bank account, and just do nothing. Because essentially you saying to the police that you can't work with the federal government, ICE, to deport illegals because you've given them armor protection. And they're breaking the law. They're in here illegally. I don't care who don't like it. They're in here illegally. I'm telling the truth. Now, if I'm lying, I'm fine, as they say, as we said in the hood. But if I'm telling the truth, you just got to accept it's truth. And I don't know how Mayor Brandon Johnson is allowing himself to get sucked into this because we got to be big and kind-hearted people. Man, you got over 60,000 homeless people in this city that you have not reached out to be big and kind-hearted to, and you're telling us to wait, and you ain't did nothing in 100 days, and you did all that talk about what you was going to do.
Think they honestly say they love us?
Well, actions speak louder than words. That's what the good book said.
We can't do no action because they are always a step ahead of us. Look what we standing at. Look at this land. They stick together. We have left. We don't stick together. We ready to kill us, but they
got a black mayor.
Because they stick together. They go about doing it together. Us black people, right.
He said we gotta wait. We go get ours. We just gotta wait while he take care of the immigrants.
And then you get on TV when the news media across you and give them that game, that West Side game. But we in the hood know the game. You don't have a plan. You don't have a vision.
They passing a new law to say they can get jobs now, visas to get jobs. As if black folks don't want jobs.
Right. They looking out for their migrants before they look out for their own kind.
And then they go come to us and say, vote.
Right.
Vote, we gonna make a change.
And then they gonna vote. They gonna give voters rights too.
So what we gonna do about it?
I just pray. That's all I do.
We gotta do more than pray.
That's all I do. I'm not getting out here arguing with nobody. Like all I can do is believe in my power up there. That's it. Flesh down here. And I'm not racist, but we always gonna be last.
We ain't racist, but we want what we deserve. We've been here a long time.
Now what you go tax somebody to come work in this city for, to pay for the immigrants to be here? All right, that's enough. We got an immigrant problem in this city that needs to be resolved before the close of this year.
Yeah, I think it's a damn shame, and I think that the city of Chicago should say enough is enough. You can't keep taking everybody in and can't even afford to have them. They should be, the mayor should be say, okay, now we took a lot of them in to let you know that this is a city that we will shelter. But we can't keep taking them.
But they sent $300 million of taxpayers' dollars, and they ain't doing nothing for y'all. Are they giving y'all some money? Are they giving y'all some food?
Look at our people still hungry.
What you got to say?
Hell no, we going through hell to get this shit.
They spending all this money on migrants. They housing them.
They ain't doing no work.
They housing them.
Put in work. A lot of work.
And they not standing out here in line to wait to get no food. The city bringing it to them.
They just got their hand and they just writing them off. That's wrong. I think it's wrong.
And what you do is you get them, you first of all, Mayor Johnson, you rescind that order to make this a sanctuary city. And you get you some coach buses, school buses, vans, whatever it takes, plane tickets, and you put them back on them buses and them planes, and you drive them right back down to Texas and you drop them off. And they know when they're coming. They know when the buses are coming. Don't fool yourself. The city know when a bus load is coming in here, and they know how many's on that bus. You had the police to meet that bus and to escort that bus right on back out of the city limits. That's what you do. That's why you go to Park Forest, Arlington Heights, Homewood, Flossmoor, Hillcrest, Illinois. You don't see migrants out there because they're not a sanctuary city. You don't see them out in Elgin. You don't see migrants out there in Lombard. Melrose Park, because they're not sanctuary cities. So they cannot legally bring them in there because Chicago is a sanctuary city. And we want to blame it on Republicans. Somebody, I was talking to a Hispanic person about this issue, and they agree with me, but they want to make it Biden fault. No, this goes back to Democrats, Republicans. This goes back to when Bush was in office, when Obama was in office, when Clinton was in office, when Trump was in office, and now we're Biden in office. So it ain't nothing new. It just got out of hand. And the only recourse, the only way to stop it, is for them to know that they're going to be sent back when they get here. That's why they're coming. That's why they're coming.
Rivas says he arrived in Chicago from Venezuela 6 months ago.
Pasando caminos peligrosos.
He says the journey through Mexico was dangerous, by train, on foot, sleeping in the streets. He made it, but now he can't find legal work.
Voy a buscar un futuro para nuestros hijos.
We're here looking for a future for our kids, Rivas says, to improve their life. We want to work, but we need support. Rivas' story mirrors that of hundreds of new arrivals in Chicago, and that's why industry leaders, as well as Democratic lawmakers, including the governor, the mayor, and members of Congress, have come together to call on President Biden to use his power as chief executive to fast-track work permits for migrants and immigrants, new and old.
Together, we call upon the Department of Homeland Security to create a process for streamlined work authorization in which states can sponsor non-citizens to work in industries that are facing labor shortages.
We have the jobs, we have the people. We just need authorization from Washington.
If you don't give a flying fig for this moral argument, do it for yourself and your family so that businesses can stay open, restaurants can stay open, hotels can stay open, so that hospitals can provide the basic care that you need. These people are ready to help, and we should give them that chance.
They say we don't want to work. We don't want jobs.
Everybody do want to work. Right.
That's not what they say.
Right.
They can bring the immigrants over here and get them work visas.
They make it easy. They make it harder for us. That's why a lot of black people don't get jobs. They make it harder.
We just want a job. We just want to work. They looking healthier than you and me. We got an immigrant problem in Chicago. We got an immigrant problem in Chicago. And Chicago's going to have to deal with it. Chicago's going to have to close their doors and turn the buses around and send those immigrants back that's here. Or tell them they're going to have to bring their own money up here and fund themselves. And they coming up here to get jobs and getting jobs. Keep watching. Keep watching. We're going to stay on this. Get on my podcast because I'm going to blow this thing up. Go on my website. I'm going to stay on this until it's resolved. I'm going to stay on this till it's resolved. I'm going to stay on this till it's resolved.
More migrants who arrive in Chicago, the higher costs to the city. But exactly how that money has been spent has been a harder question to answer.
The mayor's office confirming tonight that the type of giant framed tents that are currently being used to house migrants in New York City are similar to what Chicago is looking to do to ease the migrant housing crisis here. The mayor and his team briefing members of the city council about the limited details of the plan this afternoon, saying each tent would house 500 to 1,000 people. They asked for help finding 2-acre or larger sites in every ward where tents could possibly be placed.